My dear brothers, I start with a story that happens almost 15 years or even more than this ago for myself, previously when I used to be in a college long time ago. So one day the student, they were together, they were coming together. I was the only foreigner student in that class. So they told me to go out tonight with them for a party that they have tonight. And they didn't know who I am. Anyway, that's fine. I said, what kind of night is this? What is it that you inviting me to? They said, tonight we call it animal night. Animal night. I said to them, what does that mean, animal night? What do you do? What does exactly you doing? He said, this tonight is we drink, we do everything bad. He sleep with his mom, he sleep with his daughter, he sleep with this, he sleep like this, going around with each other. Nobody says stop to anyone else. This is animal night. This is the animal night that they do so. And I said to them, no, I'm not coming, I'm not doing this because this is against our religion. This is against our religion. I'm not doing this. So why I give you this example? This is sign of a person that his heart has a diseased, an ill heart that needs to be cured. And it is a sign of a person that does not see good and he sees bad good. So it is important that we take care of our heart and we know the disease of our heart and we need to know how to cure them. So what is another sign of diseased heart? A person that has a diseased heart. One of them is tulul amal, which is hoping, a long time hope. He hopes for a long time. He thinks that he will not die. He will think that life will be always there for him. He is always hoping very long distance. And that person, he shouldn't do so because he needs to know he's here for a short time and he needs to know that he's here for the worshipping of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He should worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he should not have long hope. He should be thinking about the future that he's going through in the life after. Another sign of a diseased heart, selfishness, al-kibr. He thinks he's the only person. He thinks he's the only one. So that person that he thinks like this, he needs to treat his heart. He needs to know he has to have tawadu. Means that he says that he's less than everyone. He's nothing. He's nothing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's nothing in front of anyone. So that's why he needs to stop having selfishness because it's a dangerous disease in the heart. It is a dangerous disease in the heart. Another sign of a diseased heart is he hates religion persons. He hates religion persons and a Muslim brothers. He loves someone that is not Muslim, but he hates a Muslim brother. Or he hates an Islamic Sheikh, an Islamic person, just because his view is not matching his view. Just because what he gives the fatwa on is different than what he wants. So he hates those type of religion persons. So we should not do so, because hating a religion person, even if you are having a different opinion with him, then that shows is a diseased heart, because a heart of a Muslim should be pure toward a Muslim person's heart. You should not hate your Muslim brothers, or especially an Islamic person. When you see him, you must love him, and you should not have any hate toward an Islamic person. Never ever. Another sign of a diseased heart that a person may have it and he needs to cure it, and that is having fear toward others and not fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Which means that you fear your landlord. You don't tell him to pray because you are worried that he might tell you go out in the house. He doesn't pray, you don't tell him. You're having a fear of a person that you work, you don't tell him that he wants to go Jum'ah because you know he will tell you, he will fire you, and he says, go, no more jobs. Or he's a taxi driver or whatever. He does not give advice to the person who is above him because he fears something. that you should not do that. If so, then no, your heart is in a big disease and needs to be cured and it needs to be looked after. You should only fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you fear anyone else, then no, your heart is in a disease and it needs to be, your heart is diseased, an ill heart, and it needs to be cured. So Al-Izz bin Abdul Salam, one of the great scholars of Islam, one day he went to a leader of a city, like we could say the MP of the city or the leader of this area and so on. He went to the leader of that place and he was very, very harsh with him on advising him and correcting his mistakes. He was very harsh with him. He said lots of things with him in very harsh language, very tough, and he did not scared of him. He said everything to him as he wished to do. So the people told him, were you not fearful of him? Were you not fearful that he might punish you? That he might do something to you? That he might do something wrong with you? And so on. And he said to them, no, I did not. And he gave the reason why he doesn't. And he says, تصورت عظمة الله فأصبح عندي كالهرة. He said, I put in front of my eyes. I looked and I realized and I knew the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ability of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that person that I was very harsh with, it became like a cat. He became like a cat in front of me. Means he was as a cat, he cannot do nothing. There is no reason to be fearful toward him. So when we fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone and we do not fear anyone, then everything will be fine. But when we fear everyone and we don't fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we don't scare of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then know that everything goes wrong and we shouldn't do that. Another sign of knowing that your heart is diseased and you have a diseased heart, and that is when you see someone doing wrong, you do not advise him and you do not correct him. When we see someone does something wrong, when we know someone does something wrong, we have to give da'wah to that person. We have to correct him. If we leave him on his mistake and on his wrong, then no. First of all, our heart is diseased heart and ill heart, and secondly, we had a sin because we knew someone did something wrong and we didn't correct them. And we must have correcting them. It is duty, as scholars has mentioned, as scholars has said, like Imam Bayhaqi and others, it is amongst the branches of Iman. It is amongst the needs of your Iman to be completed that when you see someone did something wrong, you should and you must correct them. Another sign of someone is a diseased, he has a diseased heart and he's very ill heart. He's always in sadness, he's in difficulty, he's always as he lost all his wealth, he lost all his money, he lost everything. If you see his face, always is down, always sad, always is in distraction and so on. And that is a sign of this person is an ill person and his heart is diseased. He needs to cure his heart. He needs to be happy. He needs to be smiling. He needs to be glad that he's in this life. There are many people in the graveyard, they're dead, but you are alive. So on. And curing your heart from the disease that you have is not by drinking alcohol, woman and so on and on. No. You cure this sadness by the praying, by zikr, by reading Quran and so on. Those are the means of your heart be happy and a good heart as well as a heart that it should be as a Muslim heart.